Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the AMA Entertainment TV Network. I'm your host for this evening. I go by the Visual Goat, and today we have a very special guest with us. She really needs no introduction, but you know what I'm saying? She may not be all out there, on the social media and all these things like that, like a lot of people, but y'all gonna know who she is after today. I know that for a fact, you know what I mean? So I'll let her introduce herself and talk a little bit about herself, and then we'll dive into the questions. So first of all, how you doing today? And thank you for being here with us.
Yes, I'm doing well. My name is Kay Simmons. I'm also known as Miss Pretty Red on social media. And I just want to tell you guys today a little bit about myself.
Okay, okay. So, all right, so let's do it. So, what all do you do? What all are you into?
So I am a tax preparer. I also have a clothing line and all around entrepreneur because I do multiple things, especially like over the years, I've done so much. Yeah.
Okay. So, so what you doing? Everything that you do, like all the entrepreneur stuff, all you have your own clothing line. So, hey, let's talk a little bit about the clothing line because it's a lot of people that are out there that wants to start their own clothing line, their own brand, and
Yeah.
they're maybe afraid or maybe they don't know what steps to take. What advice would you give them?
Yeah. Start off with an online clothing store first and just get your clientele built. Kind of see what you like, what you don't like. If you do well online, then I would suggest you do a brick and mortar. I would suggest a brick and mortar until you actually have that clientele because you're going to have bills. You're going to already, taxes, fees, just paying, the state taxes is something else depending on how much money you're making. And if you're not making very much money, you still having to pay rent and utilities is kind of overwhelming. So I advise people the way AI is, the internet is, start online first, build your clientele up, and then get a brick.
Okay, okay, all right. So, what do you so in your time with having your own clothing line and everything? What would you say has been the hardest thing for you?
Support from your state. I get support from other people in other places more than I get the support from people that I know. In businesses that I don't put my face on it, I succeed. They don't know it's me. And then some people, it's just depending on where you are. But I say when it comes to building a business, especially online brands, venture off, because some people won't shop with you because it's just she went to school with me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so they don't really support. I don't know what to say about that part, but your biggest supporters are people you don't know.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And it's
I
it's
agree.
crazy, but it's the truth.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. And I never understood that. And I don't know if that's just a Alabama thing or what. But it's definitely like that for sure. I mean, I even seen something the other day where it was a Bible scripture that somebody was
Mhm.
talking about related to music, but they said, it was Luke 4:24, and they was saying, they said even the prophets weren't accepted in his hometown. So it's like they weren't accepting people in their hometown back then, and so I don't even
Yeah.
know why we expect people to accept us now in our hometown. Like we got to just go ahead and go straight outside our town anyway.
Yeah. I mean, most people that I know that ventured off outside their hometown, they basically succeeded. Even if they came back, they got a lot of experience, they got to deal with a lot of people, and just they got something from it.
For sure, for sure.
So that's definitely something that I recommend. Go like a ghost business. Nobody has to know it's you. A lot of us are proud that we, built our businesses and we're sustaining, we're successful. So we're proud about it. We want to tell, hey, this is my company. I did this. But a lot of time it's best to not put a face on it and just let it be a brand. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Because I mean, it's like you don't just you ain't able to have easy access to the owner of Gucci or to the owner of Prada.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So when you making yourself so accessible, it's like they don't take it as serious because you ain't hard to get in touch with. Like they can call you and be like, So
Yeah.
I think that may be a little bit a part of it as well.
Yeah. And see, with my tax brand, I have a business called Wealth Academy. I have a website which is Wealth Academy Pros. And basically what we teach is generational wealth. How do LLCs are taxed at the highest tax bracket. It's you're supposed to get the LLCs, put the LLCs in a trust. Life insurance policies are supposed to be used while you're living, not while you're dead. You know. when it comes to, uh, I want to start a foundation coming soon here because I have teenage boys. I have I only have one son, but I take care of two of my brothers on my dad's side. So my son is 16. I take care of a 15-year-old. I mean a 17-year-old and a 15-year-old. The 17-year-old graduates this year, and I'm like, I want to make it so that when they graduate, they have a house, or when they finish school, they have a house. You don't have to worry about being homeless or staying with the female to have somewhere to stay because you own your own home. By the time you're 21, you own your own home. Of course, I want to set up where they have to work for it, because I feel like if you give people things that they didn't ask for, they don't appreciate it.
Right.
So if you're giving them something, and like in the long run, you're gonna be thankful that I put you in a position to be a homeowner at 21. Who do you know really owned a home at 21 unless someone passed and then gave it to them? So it has to be a tragedy before they can receive what they have to receive. I
Right.
want to make it to where you don't have to go through something, devastating in order to be a landowner. In America, you have to either own a business or you have to own land to have a voice.
For sure.
That should be taught to Black kids when they're, especially when you're about to graduate and you're about to go into the real world. You need to understand the assignment.
Mhm.
So that's something that I'm very, very passionate about. I'm very family oriented. So I do teach, a lot of families go out and we pay. Everybody got a light bill, everybody got a water bill, everybody got a gas bill. Instead of us thinking we can all stay on the same compound. We can buy land, we can get marginal homes put on the land, and we all pay one light bill. We all pay one water bill. And so we're not so overworked because we're teamwork. Nursing home, what is that? Because grandma get to stay at home with the children because we have set ourselves up to where we don't have to work so hard that we can't be there. You know, it's just, I'm a very Black oriented, Black family
Mhm.
advocate. That's just who I am. So, and of course, this is for, I deal with a lot of different cultures. I do status correction. So a lot of people that come to America and they want to get their green cards or they want to get their citizenship, I do the paperwork for that. So I'm versed with dealing with foreigners. I'm versed with what they want and what they feel is important and what us as Americans feel is important.
Mm.
So I want to fix some things in the small area that I can. You have to start with your family and you have to go out, and everybody who would accept it, I'll give it to them. But I've learned not to, if someone didn't ask you, don't volunteer.
You're right. You're
So
right.
if you asking for the information, I'm willing to talk about it. We can sit down. You can, come to my office. We can meet. We can do whatever we need to do to get that information to you. But a lot of people you're trying to force something or force information on them, then they really don't care about it.
Right.
So at this big age, I learned to talk to people who are looking for that information, who are seeking something different.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And that's understandable. You said something that really hit me too because I know this interview ain't about me, but I'm gonna throw this in there. Something that I always want to do because I do credit repair and I also am into like the stock market and everything. So I wanted to do like a kind of like a big workshop, whatever you want to call it, but for like high schoolers to teach them about credit and teach them about the market and things like that so they can start investing at an early age, so they can start making sure they have good credit at an early age. So that way
Yes.
they can have their life set up by the time they get in their 30s like us, they're already established. They're already,
Yeah.
black you see a lot more black millionaires, black excellence everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of that goes back to understanding it at an early age, because me, I'm like, hey, if I knew this back when I was 18 with the mindset that I had,
Mm-hmm.
I know where I would be right now. You know what I
That's
mean?
me.
Yeah.
That's definitely me.
Right.
I'm like,
So
man,
I
what
think we
we
can,
could have done.
I think whenever you get ready to do something or one of us get ready to do something, I think we can partner up on that for sure. For sure.
Yeah. And I do that already. I partner up with other people that's going to the different high schools, and it's like an entrepreneur thing. And everybody all the way to just DJs. Like whatever you do, it's no limit on, you know, what they allow you to come in and talk about. Of course, I talk about taxes and generational wealth. So mine is a little bit different on the career path because it's something that can help not just them but their family, as well. And that's what it kind of takes. So I don't know if you ever heard of like black families in the past. Granddaddy worked for uh the mines or something, and he got this lump sum. Now all the children
Yeah.
get money during Christmas and they get money
Ancestral.
on their birthdays. But what they fail to tell you is once granddaddy set that up, nobody else in the family knew how to keep that going. You know? So it basically died when granddad died.
Mm,
Because now the wealth is just, if it's land or property, they done sold it off. Everybody signed some and now the airport got it.
mhm.
And it's something, it's crazy, and if we teach one, each one teach one, especially in your household and the people that are connected to you, that's how you continue generational wealth for years and years, especially with the life insurance policies. Everybody born into the family get a life insurance policy. If somebody was to pass with life insurance policies, whatever you put in it, it doubles. So just say there's 5 people in your household. Everybody has 500, $100,000 on them in life insurance policies. Once you put $500,000 worth of life insurance policies in a trust, it brings $1 million because it doubles. So now, if you wanted to go and buy an apartment complex that was 750,000, and they say I need you to show funds, you can show through your trust fund that you have $1 million in this trust fund that is legit legal money. You know, all through life insurance policies, something that we pay anyway. We
Yeah.
pay this anyway, but
Yeah.
nobody taught us formation. Nobody taught us that, hey, you have to put this in there in order to use it while you're living. And if somebody was to pass away and they pay off the $1,000 benefit, once it hit the trust, it's what? 200,000. And that it so on and so on. You can borrow from it just like you borrow from a life insurance policy. It's the same. It's just formation. You don't have to pay taxes on certain things. We don't know about it. We just don't know.
Right.
And so you can't be mad at our people because they for lack of knowledge. But at the same time, it's too much technology out here. If you
Mm.
want to know the answer to something, it's just as easy picking up Chat GPT. Hey Chat. Hey Siri. Hey
Yep.
Google. Hey
Right.
Alexa.
Right. Gemini. All
You
that.
can ask. You know, You can ask so many different AI systems. Uh-oh, now my
So
car
serious
listening.
talking to
See,
you now.
they too smart. They in my business. But yeah, I mean, and that's just what it is. We're in this day and age. I know when I was younger, I had somebody come out to I went to Fairfield High Schools. We had different things than, the average school system. So we had someone come out and teach us about penny stocks and how to balance your bank account and, different things like that. They came out and they talked to us about that. And I think that that stuff is important. If we can teach high school students about, I don't know if they still do penny stock. I'm pretty sure they probably do, but if we can teach them, even if it's like, dollar or whatever, a few dollars or however, we can teach teenagers the concept while they're young and their mind are fresh, right out of high school. Those are more multimillionaires right there. If they just can learn the concept and stick to it and just really understand it, because I dibbled and dabbled and I lost. And then after that, it was like, I don't know if the economy crashed, something happened, and the website that I was trading on was like gone. It was just shut down. So I don't care for stock because I've had a bad situation with it. But I hear so many people do very well. And I'm just like, some people do good, some people don't. Somebody got to lose in order for somebody to win, you know? And so I'm a little skeptical, but I know that I've witnessed people doing very well. I know a guy who switched over into the millionaire status because of stock. I mean, changed his whole life and everything, how, what was going on. It was amazing. But he was really, really dedicated and he studied like all day, every day. It was really deep. But For the most part, I know we're about the Alabama Music Awards, but this is all a part of it too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Even it's all about generational wealth and knowing what to do with the money when you get it. I went to the Alabama Music Awards show a few times before. I invested in a lot of different companies. I invested in a juice company at the time, my first show. Um, we had, it was a good turnout. So after that, I end up coming. I want to say I got on with I got on with that fashion show. I brought my lingerie. I do lingerie. I do have a clothing line. We do all clothes, men and women, and accessories. But that year, I launched my Bodacious Goddess lingerie line, and that was the first time the Alabama Music Award had lingerie pieces in the fashion show, and it was really tasteful. It wasn't really. It was sexy, but it wasn't like you know
Like too
too
much. Yeah.
much. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean everybody had a good time and it was a lot of design, a lot of custom designers. So a lot of the pieces were original pieces. It was really, really nice. And I love being in those environments because those are entrepreneurs. Those are people that believe in themselves and they have a why. Why do you do this? I do this for my family. I do this because this is my passion and I love it and I make money off of it. So why not do something that you enjoy doing and you can get paid off of it? And so in my field, that's just the perfect place to be with a lot of people who would bet on themselves. So it's always good energy. Last year, I hosted the VIP, and this year, I also host the VIP as well. So I'm excited meeting just the most amazing people, the most talented people, too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy. But we always have a good time. I modeled in the show, not last year, but the year before that. So I put my lingerie pieces in it and I also modeled for other custom designers as well.
Okay.
So I'm just an all around girl. I travel the world, so I meet people all over. I have a big perspective on just life and love and living, than the average. But for the most part, I want to see people win,
Right.
especially our people, you
Right. For
know?
sure.
Yeah. So I know they nominate different artists and DJs and producers so I've talked to a lot of different people and I'm the one usually asking the questions. So I guess I would just say, if this is a passion of yours and this is something that I'll bring you joy out, don't stop. Go the full mile for whatever you believe in, especially if you think it's something that can change your life because it only takes one interaction with somebody that can change your life, being in the right place at the right time, it could do wonders. So I would just advise people to let your network be bigger than your net worth.
Sure.
That was somebody told me that, and I can't even remember who told me that, but it was something that stuck with me because sometimes people will move on who you are
Right.
and the type of person you are and the things that you do to motivate other people more so than moving for money.
Right. Right.
So I have people say, oh, I'm like, I will pay you extra. No, just because it's you, I'll come do it. And they might do it for free,
Right.
just on the strength that it's me and my purpose and my cause. And they know that I'm on the each one teach one and just do right by people because I
Right.
feel whatever you put out in the universe, it'll come back to you.
For
So
sure.
I try to put good energy out. I try to put because I want all that to come back to me,
Right.
even if it's just, meeting somebody that gives you some encouraging words like I said about that. That's something I've kept with me for I know 20 years. Somebody said that to me as a teenager. Let your network be bigger than your network. And 20 years later, it's still sticking with me. So I encourage people to just, you only get one life, and in that one life you get, be happy, have joy. A lot of people get bitter and they're just going through it. And it's like everybody go through stuff, but try to be happy, try to be the best version of yourself and put good energy out because that will come back.
Right.
And it's a boomerang. That's
I
pretty
agree
much
100%. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
right. Okay, so I mostly specialize in businesses that do Schedule Cs and, have all the proper paperwork. And if they don't have the proper paperwork, we can get it done. But for the most part, you can find me on Facebook under Tax Empire LLC. I'm Unlimited Designs LLC as well for my clothing. And my website for Wealth Academy is wealthacademypros.com. So they can get on the website. They can see we have products, we have tax courses, different things of that nature. They can call, they can email, they can all the contact information is on social media. Now my model name and page is Miss Pretty Red, MZ Pretty Red on Facebook. Instagram, I'm Miss MZ Pretty Keri, Keri. So those are my social medias. Yes, thank you so much.
With the
Okay. All
ladies.
right. Peace.